they're not the first government to do that. This has happened in the past. It's all very weird.
That is pretty mental.
Yeah.
We're all Martians.
Turn the freaking frogs gay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Jack Mate's Happy Hour. I'm with Stevie White.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Has no one ever done that before?
Yeah.
And we are back for his second appearance on the show. I think actually, for someone who's not like a permanent fixture, the first person to do the double, isn't it?
Yeah.
There we go. DudeyRhino,
How's it
aka
going?
Jordan, aka Jordan Vlogs.
That's it. It's coming, mate. I'm changed. I'm telling you now. It's
And
coming.
I've also got some melon on the go. And I don't like things with holes in, whatever that calls,
Yep.
Trypophobia or something?
Yeah, the
Something like
phobia
that.
with the holes.
But
Yeah.
seeing them seeds float in that warm melon juice is not turning me on.
No.
Well, hold on. How often do you pick up a bit of food and go, that's turning me on?
No, I just mean it's not ticking any boxes.
Yeah, but you said turning me on specifically, which makes me think you do have some weird food fetishes.
I do. We've gone over this before on the show, haven't we? Tea and toast and whatnot.
I didn't know you got
Yeah,
turned on
no,
by those things.
no,
I thought you
no.
just enjoyed eating it.
A little bit of pre-cum every now and then.
Nice. But do crumpets give you anxiety?
I hate crumpets, man.
Really?
Oh, they make me feel ill.
What if you ate one with your eyes
Really?
closed?
Then I can still tongue the hole, and that is never good.
There's plenty of holes.
Oh, I feel
to
sorry
touch
for
as
Fiona.
well. That's it.
Oh,
Moving on.
God.
That's it.
So we thought what we'd do today is we'd get our resident conspiracy theory expert.
Hold on.
Shane Dawson, no.
Hold on.
Jordan, I didn't know whether to call you Dudy or Jordan. I'm going to
Jordan. Judy.
Jordan Vlogs over here is
That's
going to. You've been doing a lot of research this weekend. haven't
I
you?
have. I just want to get it out there. It's been for this podcast that I've done this. I wouldn't normally do this. And to be honest, I think I've gone to the point of no return.
What did you learn? Some
You know,
weird shit, did you?
Did I learn some weird shit, mate? I was just sat there and like around my mates. I thought I'd do some research while they're actually enjoying themselves. And they were like,
That's
"Is it going all right?" You know, I was like, "Well, apparently Hitler's not dead, so that's great." And the Queen's a cannibal. But other than that, like, it's just made me question
Life.
everything.
That's
Yeah.
what Jack was saying this weekend.
Everything.
Whilst you were doing all that, he said, there's nothing I love more than doing a podcast where I have to do none of the work.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much.
That's why you're here.
That's it. I've put the legwork in.
Yeah, that's good. When usually that's you that don't do anything. So it's good. Before we get into the conspiracies, because if you didn't really clock by that terribly introduced thing by me, that that's what we're gonna do. Jordan's gonna run us by some conspiracies, and me and Stevie are gonna question the fuck out of them, as conspiracies should be questioned. But before that, Stevie, how's your work going?
It's going marvellous, actually. Really well at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
What determines a good day at work for you?
I go home and just sleep. I don't spend the rest of... I don't stay there. That's always good.
Do you have to stay there a lot?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah.
What, like, how many days a week?
Like 6.
What, have they got specific beds there?
I'm only allowed to leave for this.
What, on Mondays?
Yeah.
So your only day off, you spend here?
No, it's all a lie. I do long shifts, though, don't I?
Yeah,
I,
you
I
do.
do work 9 in the morning till 8 at night.
Just because are you actually ever going to tell anyone what you do?
Well, some people know. You know.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm trying to pull out the information so you can give it on the
I
podcast.
have to find out if I'm allowed. Like, genuinely, I do need to... I should ask, really.
Do you have to write to her?
To her.
Yeah.
To her specifically.
Oh.
See, the thing is, this may spawn some conspiracies.
Oh.
I mean,
Do 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 do
Who
do
is
do 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 do
Stevie
do.
White?
People have been asking that for a while.
Even I asked. that.
That's it.
Right, Jordan, hit us with
Oh.
conspiracy number 1.
What should we kick off with?
Save the best till last.
Oh, well,
So
that's incredibly subjective.
Yeah,
I'll
true.
tell you, we'll start off light.
yeah.
We'll start off here. I've got a notepad. I don't know if you can hear that for the audio. Yeah,
a-
I took a few notes.
Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
yeah. I forgot that laptops exist.
He's done a dissertation on
Right.
it.
Size 18 handwriting though.
Sorry.
So he's got about 8
Yeah.
words on there.
That's it. Right. Okay. We'll start off. This is short and sweet, right? But it did blow my mind. So you know Noah.
What?
You know, the guy.
The Ark.
The Ark.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
boat, yeah,
Bloody
two
hell.
of
Do you
each.
just know Noah?
Yeah, Noah, decent bloke, right? Saved a load of animals
You
and
don't
that.
know that.
Huh?
He might not have been decent.
He might have been awful.
Yeah.
He let all the humans die. He only saved the
Whoa,
animals.
he might not have even been human. All right, yeah. So he was actually a Martian. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, that event, that biblical event, it happened on Mars, and the boat, it wasn't a boat, it was a spaceship, and they fled to Earth, and we're all Martians. This is how my weekend's gone, guys.
Well, in a way, we are Martians. Because what is a Martian?
We're a Martian to anyone else on another planet.
Yeah, a Martian is just... What defines a Martian?
It isn't a Martian
An extraterrestrial.
someone from Mars, isn't that?
I thought
like
a Martian was just somebody from another planet. Something from
thought,
another
like,
planet.
Oh, it might just be specifically from Mars.
Oh,
Martian.
Martian.
Yeah, Mars. Yeah. Do you see
Oh,
what I mean?
right. Well, that one's bollocks because...
It's the Bible.
Yeah, so most of the stories
Yeah.
in the Bible are made up anyway. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
What?
Oh, no, each one. Oh, I was like, oh, I don't know. He's
No,
Christian.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, oh my God.
dependent on your thoughts of the Bible, but yes.
Well,
but
as an atheist, I believe that a lot of the stories are
you
made
think you believe.
up. Well, yeah, because that's the thing. You
Look, Noah's Ark didn't even happen, so the idea of him being from Mars and also doing it is also
I'll
bullshit.
tell you what kind of puts my perspective on the Bible, right? I buy the fact that he was a Martian and came to Earth on a spaceship more than he was a 600-year-old dude before Jesus was born and it happened on Earth.
Hold
You
on,
know
when
what I
was he
mean?
ever mentioned to be 600?
Was he Yoda?
Yeah, no, honestly, Google it. Noah was like 600. Moses was like 400. Do you know what I mean?
If he's
And this
600
is
and he's
taught
still able to-
every Sunday. I mean, it's like-
If he can fucking drive a boat at 600 years
Not only
old,
built the boat.
he
didn't
built the
From
boat.
from hand. And from home.
Fucking
I've never
hell,
heard this
mate.
before. How have I gone through my life not knowing Noah was
You
this
don't-
old?
But the thing is, you don't need to know it, do you?
But it's worse because I've now completely. I don't care about the conspiracy theory. Now the actual conspiracy is whether he was 600 years old.
That's it. That's it. Or if he ever existed.
What constitutes as a conspiracy theory?
I think it's when there is a given fact, right? So, for example, or what is known to be factual. So let's just quickly go to the obvious conspiracy theory which is 9/11, right? So the go-to story is terrorists hijacked a plane, flew them into two buildings,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's when other theories spawn from an official story. Do you see what I mean?
Right,
When
okay.
something derives from the known truth.
I'll give you a nice example. I was at work the other day. I don't think you'll have one about this. I find it really mental that Donald Trump doesn't believe in global warming. Yeah, so in my mind, I was like, that's stupid. Like, how can you not believe in it? He did a tweet a
Look at
couple
your
of days
tan,
ago.
Donald. For fuck's sake. You're not getting that. You're getting that, and the ice caps are fucking melting, boy. You little fat what's it cunt.
That's
Yeah,
it.
so he did a tweet the other day about a woman who said she's going to run for president, but during it she was saying how they're going to fight global warming, but she was stood in like a snowstorm. So he tweeted, going, "Oh, that's funny timing," almost to go, you can't have other weathers if global warming's a thing.
It's just got to always be hot, isn't it?
So I mentioned.
Don't worry, Donald. When you die, mate, the place you're going to will be very hot.
So I mentioned at work, I went, do you believe in climate change to this guy I work with? And he went, well, yeah, I believe the climate's changing. And I was like, okay, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Do you believe in global warming? And he went, yeah, but I don't necessarily think it might be a bad thing, like they all say. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then as we walked over to where I work, he goes, I also think it could be one of the biggest hoaxes we've ever dealt with. I was like, no!
See, I was with him along the lines of, listen, when we had that heat wave in November, I was like, I'm going to embrace this. 'cause
In November?
I swear it was at late October, one of the two.
Oh, did we
There
have a
was,
heat
there
wave
was some
recently?
toasty weather, mate,
Was
and I
there?
was like, this is supposed to be snowing. This is sick. I'll
Yeah,
take this. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Get some rays. But, obviously, I love polar bears. I do. I do. But I also
How many
love...
have you met?
I like that he said obviously as well. Obviously I like polar bears. Everyone knows
but,
that.
But I do like a tan as well. So it's just one of them things, you can't. Life's about give and take.
Yeah.
So you'll give the life of polar bears for
No.
a nice tan.
Imagine this, right? Imagine global warming. It exists. It heats up.
Oh, without a doubt.
Weatherspoons,
Oh,
right? I know it's a weird connection. I'll get that.
I'm waiting to see where it goes.
Weatherspoons offer all-inclusive wristbands.
Where the fuck is this going, mate?
Been off Lanzarote, Cam.
Oh,
Stay in Norwich, mate.
That's it. That's it.
You're not up for that?
100%. And to be fair, because a couple of weeks ago I went to Lanzarote, February, 28 degrees. You're telling me you do not want 28 degrees in England in February? You're a liar.
I actually hate the heat, though.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of winter. I hate the heat. I'll tell you for why.
You're ginger.
I'm ginger. I burn easy. I got hay fever. I get hay fever bad. So basically, in the summer, I have red eyes and a snotty nose, and then in the winter, I get a cold. So I've got red eyes and a snotty nose.
Oh,
Yeah,
mate.
I'm constantly. I'm like Stephen Tries, how nasally I sound all the time.
You're just a pathetic human.
Right, what was the conspiracy? So Noah's in an ark.
Yeah, so basically Noah was a Martian, and he actually brought the animals and that over to Earth. I just thought I'd start off light. I literally thought we'd spend. I thought we were going to spend 45 seconds on this. We're 12 minutes in. I dread to think when we get to Hitler didn't die in 1945.
How would he have got to Earth in an ark?
No,
It was a spaceship.
It was a spaceship.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Martian,
Oh,
mate.
yeah,
Ray
sorry.
guns and that.
All right,
But anyway,
denied.
yeah, 100% without a doubt. But it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? I mean, that's the main thing. If there's anyone out there listening, well, I hope there's people out there listening.
If there's anyone out there, it's like it's been an apocalypse whilst we've been in this room.
I know the main part of this podcast left recently, so I don't know if there's. I'm joking. Listen,
He's going to be the one listening, mate.
Oh,
So-
you're right, mate. If you want to cut, no, I'm joking. Anyway, right. The next one, the Queen,
Good old
Her
girl.
Majesty the Queen,
Big Liz.
is in fact a cannibal.
We can't say anything until you give us a reason behind that.
Okay. So, she has ruled longer than any other queen. She has outlasted 13 prime ministers and something like 11 presidents. I don't know why I didn't write that bit down. She's 91, yeah? She's got 330 official engagements a year at the age of 91. Even 40 years ago, officials and people who met her said that she had more energy than anyone they'd ever seen. She has been on it for years and decades and decades and decades, right?
Well, she's been on it. Like she's been.
That's just cocaine.
She's either a cannibal or a massive cokehead, right? But I mean, actually, Frankie Boyle nearly got done for treason for saying her fanny was haunted, so I need to be careful. Her energy has always outweighed her age, right? Can you tell I'm reading, guys? Now, this is literally where my notes go, yeah? So it goes from her energy has outweighed her age to dozens of children go missing every time she visits Canada. Now, because apparently human flesh has great energy properties, and cannibalism has been used for hundreds of years and has been seen as a ritualistic thing, like, you consume the people that you kill and you get their energy and all the rest of it. But apparently an anonymous soldier who worked at Windsor Castle during the 70s officially claimed that he found a secret freezer in the kitchen of Windsor Castle filled with human body parts that he believes were used to prolong her own existence beyond the usual span of a human.
What?
Yes.
Who's this guy then? That's all right. Yeah, but if he's anonymous, where's the proof that he's a soldier and he even got near it? Someone online could have just
That could have
gone,
been me.
anonymous. Yeah,
Very
I was a
true.
soldier.
Very true.
I don't know where to start with this. I assume that kids go missing in Canada every day.
Yeah, regardless
But
of whether the
apparently
Queen's
there's
there.
always a bit of a spike when Liz is about. Do you know what I mean?
No, there could be a reason behind that. It's
Yeah.
a big occasion for her to go, so people are more kind of focused on that.
Suicide? Okay.
So
Oh,
loads,
the Queen's coming. Where's the rope?
she's going over there. Everyone's getting excited. Everyone's paying attention. Oh my God, the Queen's come. Couple of pedos out there just going, oh, a few kids available now. Like, because no one's focusing on
But I don't-
anything else.
But when she goes to Canada, she's only in one place, or is she? No, she's only in one place. So all the mums and dads in that area will be the select few that are looking at her. Not every mum and dad just goes, oh, and covers their eyes when she comes. So how are the pedos going to... I don't know what I'm saying.
Imagine if the Queen goes there. It's like a parade. Everyone's out in the streets waiting to kind of just see this Queen. All the families, you don't always hold on to your kids. Well, I don't have any, so never holding kids. But then that's when they grab him.
No, the conspiracy continues with Stevie. It's an open book. We don't know at this
I'm not
point.
trying to give people ideas, but it sounds like a great time to steal a kid.
Fair play. It's solid logic. I also found out something quite interesting. Apparently, cannibalism isn't illegal in the UK. It's not. You cannot be charged for cannibalism.
So as long
It's
as
not
you didn't
illegal,
kill the person.
But obviously, murder is.
So if
Yeah.
you come across a dead body
And you ate it.
and you ate it before calling the police,
It's frowned upon. Yeah. It's probably shouldn't have done that. But if you're like, look, did he really need his leg?
wait, what if I didn't kill you, but I just had a bite at you?
Well, that's grievous
No.
bodily harm.
Yeah.
What if he liked that?
Then he's a kinky bastard, and
you
you're
get
both
away,
freaks.
and you get away with it. But also, interestingly, did you know that the Queen cannot be prosecuted because she has sovereign immunity?
I have heard that.
She cannot commit. She cannot be charged for any crime.
So therefore, if she did just go around eating people,
if
she's
she
all right.
did, the only thing that she could be charged for was murder, but then she can't be charged for that because of her sovereign immunity. So therefore, if the Queen wanted to be a cannibal, she very much could quite easily.
So why doesn't she just do it and tell people?
Doesn't necessarily give weight to the theory, but it's an option.
that's a
for
good
her.
point though. If she's above all law, then why would she bother hiding it?
I guess she wants people to still like her.
But then she's also never, ever, ever had a public interview. Ever.
Really?
Ever. Yeah.
I have a really strange feeling that if she did come out in an interview and go, by the way, guys, every time I go to Canada, I steal a few kids to eat, people might turn on her.
Might go a bit off
Yeah.
that. What do you reckon we'd be able to get her on the happy hour?
Oh, easy. She's never
That
done an
would be-
interview,
that
but
would
this
be
is where she'd
class.
come.
That's pretty mental though.
If I could sit in on that, I'd ask some questions.
Sit on that.
Let's not go there.
What if you had to eat a member of the royal family? What one would you eat and why?
Probably have a nibble on Harry.
I'd have Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you take
yeah.
Can you take their
Yeah,
wives or
definitely.
What?
'Cause-
can you take their wives?
Nah.
They're now members of the royal family.
No, they've got to be
Ooh.
bloodline.
Ah. No, Megan.
Nah,
That's a
otherwise,
shame.
yeah,
Mm.
Megan would be above there. For me,
I think Charles would be quite fun.
I don't know. I think Harry would be good because I reckon he'd probably taste a lot of sort of like lager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon he's quite partial to a Greg's
Yeah, I can see that.
steak
Mm.
bake.
Yeah, I
Might
feel like
taste a little bit of entitlement. That
Yeah,
might be quite
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Charles would be quite leathery. So.
Oh,
Charles would be.
a
Yeah,
bit
who's
past it,
who's
ain't
the saggy one? The old man.
Oh,
Albert.
Philip.
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 that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know so much.
Eating him, I imagine
I mean-
it to be like when you eat a sausage, but it's got way too much skin. Like you've pushed it, and like some of
Yeah.
the meat's full out the end, so you got like a soggy sort of like. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. But also that also because basically what the theory says is not just the Queen, it's the whole royal family, right?
Okay.
I mean, you got Philip. Admittedly, flipped the Land Rover, and he's now give up his license, but he was still driving at 97.
Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah, he's
You know what I
smashing it.
mean? That's crazy.
Without glasses
So if
on
there
as well.
is anything behind, the whole eating people gives you energy,
Yeah.
then he is.
I mean,
good
I don't know
evidence
if you
for
can
it.
say that there's a comparison there. Like, well, he's driving a Land Rover at 97, so he must munch on men. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure. Or
But
women.
here we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is it.
All right. So let's rate each of these out of 10 on how likely our heads could be turned, Stevie.
Okay,
So going back to the geezer in the boat and the Martians.
0.
0. Mainly because if you'd have just told me the story of Noah, I'd have told you 0 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to know your number though, because you've done the most research on these.
Yeah, Noah.
0.
Okay.
There we
cool.
go.
0,
Zeros across the board.
Yeah, as is the whole Bible, FYI. Anyway, carry on.
And Queen Lizzie.
3.
Lizzie getting busy is a 3 from Stevie.
I'll give that a 4, I think.
Yeah, I'm
I
going to give
think-
it a 4.
I
'Cause all-
debated a 4, but then I thought that's a bit strange.
Yeah,
So
because there is throughout history royal that it's actually officially known they did. So it could just be like
It's what they do.
it's what we do.
Family
Yeah.
tradition.
yeah, all
that's
families
it.
do something
Yeah.
a bit weird, don't
Yeah.
they?
Stuff a little kid for Christmas. No.
Oh,
I meant like a
Oh.
turkey,
And
not.
now-
I thought
Oh,
you were
Lord.
telling me what your family does.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Christmas
No.
at the Whites.
Oh, oh God. Oh, Lord.
That's
So-
my
so we've got
surname, by the way.
0. Oh man.
Right, so
Moving on.
So that one's got some weight behind it, but we're still not even hitting halfway marks yet.
Yeah.
What you got next for
So
us?
the next one, this is an actual place. This does happen. It's what actually happens there is where the theories are. Alex Jones
Yeah.
actually broke into this place in 1989 and got some actual footage of what's going on. So this is Bohemian Grove. This is heavily linked to the Illuminati, the Freemasons.
Yeah.
This is a men-only elitist club where politicians go, where celebs go, and actors and all the rest of it. Men only. Satanic human sacrifices take place.
Right.
Now, in the Alex Jones footage, and this is you can see these videos. It's basically a giant owl effigy that they pray to and all the rest of it and sacrifice to, and there is a coffin on fire, and people in robes and that doing their sacrifice thing, and you can hear the screams of someone. So it's like, shit, I think there's actually someone in that coffin. But there's also other theories around it, in that it's a male sex club, because you can hear these online. There's Ronald Reagan and Clinton both asked about the Bohemian Grove, and they both said officially in interviews along the lines of, I'm like meshing the two together because they said something similar. Basically that's that gay elite club that they'll go to touch up men. That's what Clinton and Reagan said. He actually said the F word, the F-A-G, that word, about it. Yeah. So yeah. And there's also a testimony from a gay porn star that corroborated these stories. He worked there for an event, claiming that he was paid to attend to the participants' every need and want. Every need and want.
So it's a gay sex club.
Yeah. That sacrifices people.
Why do they sacrifice people?
It's just it's like a satanic cult for the Illuminati. Apparently.
What defines a satanic cult?
People who believe in
people.
Satan. It's the opposite of religion, really. Like it is essentially their own religion. Rather than believing in God, you do stuff for Satan. So instead of doing good, you do bad.
And there's so much satanic iconography around the Illuminati and stuff.
It's an upside down cross instead of a normal cross.
Yeah, and like the triangle, you'll see an eye and all the rest of it.
Right. Okay.
Like, I scratched the surface with Illuminati because I just didn't think I was ever going to come back. Like, honestly,
if there's a coffin on fire with someone burning to death.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the Queen having a barbecue.
Maybe it's all linked. Noah was there because he's like about 1,500 years old by this point. It's all linked.
What? So these presidents didn't go to it, did they?
No, because that was the other thing. I believe that they're Democrats, because they actually said, what is the opposition? Democrats
Republic.
and they were like, oh, that's that gay club that all the Republicans go to.
Oh my god!
Yeah, honestly, but honestly, there's footage of them saying this. Like the Bohemian Grove is real. It's a real place where it's a club, but it's one of those behind closed doors. What actually happened?
Could it not just be a gay brothel? That's all it really sounds like. I don't know about the satanic side of it.
But Alex Jones videoed it, and there's a coffin on fire. I think it's a bit funky.
That could just be the style.
The weird thing is,
a weird kink.
If Alex Jones, if you're starting to believe stuff Alex Jones is saying,
I'm with you on that. But this was 1980. Like now, from 2010 on, well, the 2000s onwards, Alex Jones
it's gone downhill.
He is not all there at all.
No.
Like 2019, you just watch any of his videos, it is just like, that is literally watching a man having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
But this is 1989, which I'd like to hope he hasn't been that mental for his entire life. You see what I mean?
I can't actually watch Alex Jones because I much like my whole spiel with people telling me their dreams. It's like, I don't care because anything's possible. So you're never going to baffle me or intrigue me.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine that guy to be. Like, if I put on, say, like the True Geordie podcast one day, and Brian was there going, "Why, hey man,
that's exactly what he sounds like."
Hitler was actually a pelican." I'd go,
"Oh, right.
What the fuck is this?"
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? But I'd be intrigued.
Yeah.
I'd watch it because I want to see what he's got one screw loose. But I put Alex Jones on, and he's just there shouting shit at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Whoa, this guy's lost it."
Turn the freaking frogs gay.
Have you seen that? It's class, mate. He goes on this rant about Hillary Clinton pouring stuff into the water supply and it's turning the frogs gay. I mean, you can't write it, man. That's what I like about
But
him.
you can write
the
it though.
compilation of him
Yeah.
are amazing.
I think it's so fictional and so bizarre that you specifically can write it. Do you know what I mean?
It's that extreme.
It's
It's
that
like
mental.
that extreme.
It's just a guy
yeah.
having a breakdown.
So that's that really. So what are we thinking about that one? Should we split it up? So first of all, it's a real place. Is it a gay sex club out of 10 for elites?
Oh, I hope so.
I'll give that an 8.
What you reckon it is a gay
Well, you've had
sex club?
2 presidents say
Mm.
what it is,
Yeah.
and people have gone in. You've had a porn star say that he did it. I just think it could have been like a gay brothel.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That melon is rank.
So I'll give it 8.
Could
What-
be propaganda though, potentially.
What's it called? Bohemian what?
Bohemian Grove.
And what you can go there?
You can go if you're in the elite. Yeah. But
How'd
it's
you
a
get in
real
the elite?
place. We're talking like the top end politicians in America. I don't know if these people are part of it, but if I was to sort of like the kind of caliber,
Yeah.
you're talking like Tom Cruise, George Clooney. Not saying they're actually part of it, but that sort of
No.
level, like A-list.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if anyone.
Oh,
of
that was
colour-
the other thing. So you have to. That was it. You have to be invited by like multiple people that are already in it, or you can join. You can request to join, but apparently the waiting list is in the decades.
What?
Yeah.
So how many people they accept in a month?
I have no idea. I think it's probably one in, one out. Wait till you die. That was the other. Oh my god! I missed like one of the weird. Well, one of the most extreme bits about it. So basically, obviously, you've got all these people of power, all these men of power in the same place, right? One of the rules is no negotiations, no deals are allowed to be made at the Bohemian Grove, right? It's just like a I don't know respect thing. However, contradictory to that, they have also boasted that because of the people that they've brought together, the likes of the Manhattan Project was actually birthed at a Bohemian Grove meeting. The Manhattan Project, of course, was the atomic bomb.
Really?
Yeah. So, like, things like that have apparently been birthed.
I'm just going to say it's a gay brothel.
That's a gay brothel with weird shit going down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think weird shit probably goes down in a normal brothel as well.
I think also when you get to like this is just a hypothesis, but when you get to the elite, like you are like millions or billions in your bank, whatever, and you're like the highest in your field, you probably get like bored of just like normal stuff, right? So going back to like the human sacrifice, I'm not saying if I become a billionaire I'd start sacrificing people. I'm not
That's what it
saying
sounds
that.
like,
I'm
George.
not saying. I'm
Exactly.
just saying it doesn't seem out of the realms of possibility. They're like, I'm bored of all this normal shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, like Hostel, the film Hostel.
Yeah, I haven't
Well, the
seen it,
rich people basically
Pay to kill people.
pay to kill
And
people.
torture.
Yeah, because they're bored, and so
That's a good point. That's a good point for somebody who has, as Mr. Bobby Misner said, money is freedom, and for somebody who has the freedom to do whatever they want, the human brain is a weird thing, and you may start to crave the stuff you can't do.
yeah,
because
100%.
Right now, as free lads with not loads of money, we've got limitations around our life.
Yeah.
Once you unlock all of those, you then chase that next high, don't you?
Exactly.
So I'm gonna say there's some weight behind it. I'm not too sure about the burning effigies, but then, to be fair, mate, is this meant to be in America? This?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible
yeah,
in
man.
America.
That's it.
You've got guys going on TV in America becoming TV personalities because they fuck cars.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
know.
if
Yeah,
you'd have
it's
told me that was a conspiracy 10 years ago, I'd have laughed you out of the room.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give that an 8.
mad. Ooh.
I'd give 4 for like the idea of the satanic side of it, but 8 I think is a solid chance of it just being a.
Hang on. So no, I think the listeners will be very pissed off if we don't all rate this based on the same criteria.
Okay, the exact criteria of.
So let's say
is it-
the whole thing. So it's a gay club. It's a gay elite club where human sacrifices take place and the atom bomb was created.
Okay, I'm
amongst
going
the
to say
elite.
6 then. I'll go between the two.
I'm gonna say a 7.
Boom. I think there's a lot of weight to this one.
Yeah?
I do. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly,
There we go.
that was.
So now everyone at home's going, I'm now going to have to read up about that.
Yeah,
it,
but that's what
honestly.
makes a good podcast, though.
Bohemian Grove.
That's what
guys.
makes a
It
good
is
podcast because
mental.
I love podcasts where you learn new things. So there you go, gay sex clubs.
That's it, 100%. So from gay sex clubs to possibly a paedophile, but the guy could definitely dance. Of course, talking about Michael Jackson.
MJ.
Yeah? MJ, the king of pop. Exactly.
Sorry,
Jack just had a fit.
I told you I
Fucking
got
hell.
hay fever. Sorry.
Now I've just got basically a few theories around Michael Jackson. None of it. They're not necessarily linked.
Right. Is there a theme throughout? And is that theme under 10 years of age?
No.
Right.
To be fair, there's nothing on him.
Being a nonce boy?
No.
Right.
No.
Can you be liable against the dead?
No.
You can,
and plus,
maybe you can.
Yeah, you can,
so
definitely.
Defamation of name.
Oh well, yeah, but so many people have sort of like done that to death. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like,
it's like, well, we're solid, but there's nothing in it.
right.
I mean, unless he actually did predict 9/11, in which we're fucked.
What they're saying? Are they saying he predicted?
It's pretty spooky stuff, mate. But also, did you know? Apparently, Michael Jackson had an IQ of 164, which is genius intellect.
Is it?
Yeah, so he had a genius intellect. I mean, whether what he did or didn't do was true, you cannot deny the man was audaciously talented.
Oh yeah.
His talent was fucking on another level.
Yeah. When it came to singing and dancing, he was top notch. But
Without
when
a
it came
doubt.
to hanging around with little children, that's where I start to question the man's intellect.
I know it was never been proven.
No, it's never been proven. But you haven't got to be a genius to work out I probably shouldn't sleep with Macaulay Culkin.
That's true. But then what was he doing at the funeral?
Who? Macaulay?
Yeah.
What, he's-
Making sure. What? Was he in there? Yeah, it's definitely him. Or was it?
No, because like Stockholm syndrome, sometimes you can become
Yeah,
attached to
fair.
those that abuse you, can't you?
I'm not blaming any victims, by the way, just to get it out.
Yeah,
there.
no, like
Like,
I
yeah,
think
I know
there's
what
a
you mean.
film dropping, isn't there? That's meant to have recently be exposing all of Michael Jackson's fiddly hands.
Oh,
All of them.
dear.
All his fiddly hands.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's nothing really covering that because I thought we'll
That's probably a bit
just
too
talk-
obvious,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
Exactly.
you know
I'm
when you
trying
just-
to be a bit niche.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But there is an album which, to be fair, I'd never even heard of this album before. But I'm not like the biggest Michael Jackson fan. I just know all the big bangers. You know what I mean? But so there is album art for Bloodshed on the Dance Floor.
Right.
And this album art, you can Google it right now. Make sure you got a tab open with the podcast on, and that actually predicts 9/11.
What is
So
that?
basically, it's
Bloodshed
bloodshed
on the dance floor.
on the dance floor. So basically, what it is, there's a backdrop of a cityscape.
Yeah.
There's plumes of smoke, and he is stood there with his arms in a position of 10 to 9, if you can imagine. So his arms are like over in 10 to 9, right?
Right.
So he is stood in a cityscape. This is in, I think, 1997. He's stood with a cityscape. There you go. You got it up there.
Yeah.
And his hands are at 10 to 9. Now
5 to 9.
5 to 9. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now 9/11 actually happened at 8:46, and behind him is a cityscape, plumes of smoke. He's wearing a red jacket, which is obviously red signifies bloodshed. And this was released years before 9/11 actually happened.
Oh, it's blood on the dance floor.
Blood-
Yeah, blood on the dance
Sorry,
floor.
blood on the dance
Yeah.
floor. I do apologise.
So,
yeah.
so one of his hands is pointing at 9, the other one's at 11, which is 9/11.
Yeah, but it's also the time, so you can see like it's like just around
9:46, 9:47.
exactly, and 9/11 happened at 8:46 a.m. And behind him is a cityscape, plumes of smoke.
Oh
He's
yeah, sorry,
wearing
yes,
red.
8:46.
Yeah. He's wearing red, which signifies bloodshed. That's where I got it mixed up. It's blood on the dance floor, not bloodshed on the dance floor.
That's pretty mad.
Yeah. So,
But could
also he was supposed to be in the Twin Towers, or in one of them, the day it happened, but he overslept apparently. Now, obviously, the theory is, well, if he was predicting it 4 years later, of course he's not going to be there.
right? Okay, that's mad. It's weird that why does there need to be a clock on that?
There isn't a clock on there. Someone's put that on there
Oh, right.
to prove the theory. No, that's just to show where his hands are. The actual album art has no clock on it.
Right, got ya.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh my god, look at where his arms are.
Okay, yeah, that's weird.
It's more of a spooky coincidence, I think.
Yeah, that's good.
you know?
Unlike the previous one that was very plausible, and I think some parts of the past one had actually been proven to be true. This one is more of just a coincidence.
I'd
as
say
you
a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth MacFarlane was meant to be on the 9/11 flight. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think you said before.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
pretty
that's
mental, isn't
crazy.
it?
And you
That's
think
pretty-
what wouldn't have came if he was actually on there?
Yeah, no Family Guy.
Mad. It's mad.
Which no, I'm just keep looking at this Michael Jackson picture. Yeah, so apologies if
It's crazy.
you're
But
listening,
there's
Google it.
also so basically there's also like if he predicted that, he apparently predicted other things, such as there was an interview just after. Excuse me, that was a burp. There was an interview just after Princess Diana died, and MJ expressed his great sadness, but also his concern as he felt another death was coming and hoped it wasn't him. A few weeks later, Mother Teresa died. Teresa. So it was like he was concerned that there was another big death coming,
Right.
and because of how big he was like worried that it was going to be him. A few weeks later, Mother Teresa died, which is obviously a pretty big name in
I
the
think
old
again it's
religion
just a
game.
coincidence.
that one could. Yeah, that
People
one's,
die all the time.
Yeah, that one's a bit more of a coincidence.
He also predicted his own death over his music catalogue, and that police brutality would rise in the coming years, which it has.
What was that? Sorry.
So he also predicted his own death near 2009.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said to his sister. His sister's come out in an interview and said like he came to me and said that he was worried for his own life that people were after him for his music catalogue, and then a few weeks later he was found dead.
Oh, is that the conspiracy around that the doctors killed him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So people could have rights to his music.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then also, yeah, he apparently talked of he predicted that police brutality would rise against black people, and it has.
Really?
Apparently so. Oh, and he also feared that a new terrorist organization would come about, and obviously we have ISIS, so
I mean,
could be the spoutings of a madman, or could be that he's actually a little bit psychic.
I actually heard that in his first album as well. He said that the frogs are turning gay.
It just sounds
In that
like
famous
he,
Alex Jones collaboration.
as you said, he's a really smart person, high IQ.
Mm.
All of those things are fairly just things you could have said anyway.
Yeah, I've said to people before, like I think I say every Sunday to Fiona, "Oh, I feel like I'm gonna die because
Yeah.
I'm hungover."
Yeah.
If I then did die on the Monday or Tuesday, she'd
not
be like,
that
"Oh,
hard."
he knew that. He knew that." Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure about that. The album cover's obviously a bit spooky, but yeah, I mean, it is the spookiest one yet, but I don't think it holds much weight. Stevie,
I'm 2.
Jordan,
That's low.
are we just basing this based on the album cover? This one,
yeah, and him basically is he the conspiracy theory is he psychic? Could he predict things?
Or a time travel.
Now, if I could just put a little bit of my own personal thing into this, are people psychic? I have a scar on my nose
Yeah.
where, as a kid, I was on a climbing frame playing it. I was about 10 playing tag.
Mm.
And I was on the climbing frame, and the guy who was it, he said, "You're it," grabbed my foot and pulled me down. I smashed my nose on the climbing frame, fell to the ground, right? Went home, covered in blood. My mum's partner at the time was there. My mum wasn't there because she was having a sunbed, right? My mum swears this is true. She was laying on the sunbed, and she just got this vision of me laying on the sofa covered in blood. So she just got out, went straight home. There I was. So I'm not saying, I believe in mediums and psychics and all that, but I'm open to it because of what happened there. Because that's unexplainable.
Yeah, that's pretty mad. But
it's
then
just a bad feeling.
But then there's so many times because this is the thing with conspiracy. Yeah, people only ever talk about the times that the conspiracies, not conspiracy, coincidence. Sorry, people only ever talk about the time the coincidences match up. So your mum, in our head, from what I've grown to learn, you have millions of thoughts in your brain at any given time. Yeah, not millions, but you're thinking lots of things at any given time. And some of them are just like secondary thoughts that never really materialize into a proper thought. So you're walking down the street, like Gervais said, you don't think in words, do you?
No.
You think just things. You just think things. So your mum could have had that image because you're her son. She worries about you. She could have had that image flick through the back of her mind loads of times that day, right? Loads of times in her life. And then because she comes home and she sees it, her brain matches that up of when she's last had that premonition, and boom, it's a coincidence. But what about all the the time she's previously had that and it's not happened.
But she did say she intentionally left early because she had that thought.
Right. Okay.
But I do understand. I do
Yeah.
get what you're saying. 100%.
but-
That is a really good way to like rationalize it.
Yeah.
But you were a young kid, so if she worried, it probably just kind of set her, it was just to make herself feel at ease.
Yeah.
I doubt she genuinely thought she was going to get home and you were there. What she really thought was that she was just panicking, wanted to
Yeah.
feel at ease to get home and see that you weren't there. It just so happened that you were.
Yeah.
I don't think the human brain is capable of
I know
looking
it's
forward.
oh my god, I'm a very logical person. That is complete. If that actually happened, that's true. That is completely unexplainable. Like, I can't explain that.
Yeah.
But my point was, because of that, I'll boost this a little bit. Do you know
Right.
what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas before it'd probably be like, oh fuck it.
Yeah. You go
I'll
boost your
I'll
rating.
give it a 4. I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a
Fair.
4.
I'm at a 2.
It's like people that they strongly do not believe in ghosts, and then if they see one little flash that it can change their opinion
Yeah,
on things.
no,
What number do you give it?
What is it? This is Michael Jackson, the 10-2. I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
So I think it's probably the third most like.
Yeah.
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 But the album art is spooky, isn't it?
The what one?
The album.
The
art.
album art is very spooky,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's what I like about conspiracies. Things that do give you that little shiver.
Yeah.
Because the human brain, the human brain is full of so much intrigue. That's
Mm.
why we love murder documentaries. People say, "Oh, well, not a lot of people say this because they're in the minority, but some people go, oh, if you like murder documentaries, you must be a bit of a sicko." That's like, no, the human brain
Yeah.
is intrigued to stuff we
Yeah.
can't comprehend,
Yeah, exactly.
and we can't comprehend killing someone. So we'll watch stories about people that did that. You want to try and get in their head. So I enjoyed that one, but unfortunately for you, Jordan, we're not rating these based on how much we enjoy them.
That's
so-
very true. That's
Just a
very
3.
true. But we're staying on MJ.
Okay, cool.
And this one's pretty crazy. So this is that Michael Jackson was actually murdered and replaced at the height of his career in 1984, aged 26,
What with the lookalike?
with a lookalike, with a white lookalike specifically, and there's reasons for that. So in 1984, Michael Jackson became a living legend, the most sought-after human on the planet. However, no matter how talented he was, ultimately he was a black man. No one had ever seen anything like him. He surpassed anything ever achieved by white idols such as Elvis, Sinatra, and the Beatles. Keep in mind what happened in the lead up to this apparent death, right? So bear
Yeah.
in mind his accolades at the time and people's narrow-minded viewpoints at the time, because it is important. So basically, in 1979, he released the best-selling album by a black artist for the time called Off the Wall. And he then topped that himself and set a world record for the best-selling album by releasing, anyone know which album?
Thriller.
Thriller in 1982. He won 8 Grammys and AMAs and visited the president. He got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, all in 1984 alone. None of this had ever been done by a black artist in such a short amount of time. The theory goes that one day in late 1984, Michael Jackson was murdered in a lawyer's home. Yeah, it's pretty spooky. Now, not wanting to go public with his death due to his popularity, his body was taken to Neverland and buried under Neverland's ranch under Sunsetters Hill, MJ's favourite place at Neverland. After his murder, those responsible seeked a replacement, a white replacement, that would allow them to control his every move and behaviour. Soon after, Michael Jackson appeared with vitiligo, a skin pigment disease. A man mocked by the media, accused of paedophilia, but was not the real Michael Jackson. So basically, they murdered him and replaced him, and that's what explained his change in skin tone, not the vitiligo.
Why did they bother
vitiligo.
replacing him?
Why would they bother replacing him with a shitter version of him who's done all the shit things just to go, look at this shit cunt?
I think from what I can see from the conspiracy, it was because he was the man. He was like he was a living legend.
Yeah.
So they basically took that,
Yeah.
swapped it for something that they could control, but in the same position.
But then they mock him and call him a paedophile, and
No, that was like obviously on
That was the
on
downfall.
the downfall in the 90s and that.
but then like if you have like a god, if like not you weren't a god, but if you have someone that you idolize and then they die, why just let it be? Like why get a shittier replacement in?
I
Like, I can't
think
imagine
what
when-
they're going for is like it was massively a race thing, and they wanted to
right.
replace this dominant black guy with a white guy.
equally
But then it
dominant
makes
white
like
one.
I want to just say for this one, this is a 0. Like I'm
Yeah.
completely skeptical, and like just trying to find any sense in it. I think that they basically killed him because of his skin color, replaced it with a white guy, but had him still pose as a black guy.
Yeah, like
You see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
there's logical fallacies throughout the
I
whole
assume
thing.
if they killed him because he was a black guy, then the people killing him were obviously racist white people.
Yeah.
So why would they then replace him with a white one and then go, let's make this one the shittier one that's a bit noncy? Surely they'd replace him with a white one. He'd be incredible. And then once
him
he's
up even
died, they'd be
further,
going,
yeah.
also that black one was noncy.
Unless the guy, unless the guy that they replaced him with, they didn't do their groundwork. Oh shit, he's a fucking pedo, and it all just went to shit.
Now that
whole
you've said
plan-
that, that's a 10.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I don't think it's possible to replace Michael Jackson. Like, when he became white, he still went on to do Earth Song.
Oh, my
His voice
God.
in that is insane. You can't replace Michael. Exactly.
Great.
That was an
Incredible.
attempt.
Was that a gay frog? I think
Yes.
I don't see any reason why you'd replace a legend with a shitter version. Otherwise, they should have replaced Heath Ledger with someone called Keith Ledger. That'd have been good.
That was really good. Yeah, you did well on that joke. Should we go to an ad?
I don't think we can just. We've probably already. We can just slot one in from
I was just trying to get you to shut up.
earlier. Yeah, because I said Keith too soon.
You ruined the whole. We should replace Keith Ledger with Keith Ledger.
Otherwise, they should have replaced Heath Ledger with Keith Ledger, a B-Tech version of Keith. Didn't work because I had to repeat it.
Please edit that perfectly so you still get no response.
I will. Don't worry. Okay,
Right.
I've got 2 more.
Yeah.
And
Hold
then,
on.
and then a little game.
Did we all do our
Oh.
numbers on that one?
We didn't.
No.
Mine's 0.
0.
One.
You race it now. Okay, let's fling it back to good old 9/11. You know, trusty 9/11.
Good old
In the
9/11.
conspiracy theory world, guys. I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
We need to stop.
He's not
Jordan.
part of the American government.
We need to stop Jordan
That's
vlog.
it, Alex. Please make that video, man, please.
He wants the
so-
subs.
But we're not gonna touch the towers, right? We're gonna go for the Pentagon because the Pentagon I do question.
Yeah.
to be
I
fair.
question this.
The
Yeah.
Pentagon is the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense in Arlington, Virginia. Yeah, and the theory is that it wasn't a plane that hit the Pentagon. The Pentagon was most definitely hit by something. That you can see that, but plane, maybe not. So basically, the theory is that it was actually a missile used as a false red flag initiative to start the war in the Middle East. Right.
Mm.
So the FBI, this is factual, the FBI seized 85 security tapes. That's proper Norfolk. Security tapes from the Pentagon, and only one remotely showed an object hitting the Pentagon. Out of 85 tapes, one remotely showed an object hitting the Pentagon. It was a single frame, and it was one single white streak. That's apparently a Boeing 757 100-ton plane. One single frame. If a plane was about to hit the Pentagon, I think it would have picked up more than just a single white streak for a split second. Missile experts claim the object is too small to be claimed as a 757 plane and is more likely and more consistent with a cruise missile. Donald Rumsfeld was the alleged architect of the operation. His office just so happens to be on the opposite side of the building. It's just one of those funky facts.
Yeah.
And basically, if there was a plane, how can a Boeing 757-200 weighing almost 100 tons, traveling a minimum of 250 miles per hour, which has been confirmed allegedly to have gone 350 miles an hour, only damage the outside of the Pentagon? Also, how on earth did it only hit the ground floor of a 5-story construct? It's all very weird.
That is pretty mental.
Yeah, I've done a bit of reading into this as well, just because I've always found it kind of weird.
You can't read.
That's the biggest conspiracy. But I'm pretty sure.
No, it's not a conspiracy. I know you can't read.
I've read into something and seen that the room it hit also specifically damaged certain files as
really?
well. So there's quite a lot that goes into it. But also, there's no plane parts around
no
either.
debris.
There's no debris from an aeroplane. They're
Nope.
stating an aeroplane, but there's nothing. There's no wings.
Fuselage,
It just
no
disappeared. It
wings.
hit it and gone.
Yeah,
Well, then it's true then.
It's true that there's
the
no
conspiracy is true.
Yeah.
Well, then where's the wing then?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand how
That's
they've
it.
still
But,
gone with it.
But also, 85 tapes didn't show anything of this mass. A Boeing 757 is an enormous plane,
Yeah.
right? Didn't show any of it coming in or anything. Nothing.
But also, how would it get
single
low
one-
enough?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
To hit only the ground floor of a 5-story construct.
That is pretty mental, and that is probably the most convincing points I've heard.
by a
for
mile.
Any,
Yeah.
any. How many people died in this thing?
125.
They what in the Pentagon
Yeah.
died? Did
Yeah.
they?
and how many on the plane?
I don't know.
Because there wasn't one.
Good point. I was then thinking, fuck, I ain't done my research, but that is literally.
Well, you got to think, how many
Yeah.
airplanes were there on the day? There were obviously the 2 for the towers. There was that one.
And then there was another
was
one.
one
that
other
they
one that
managed
did-
to take back, but they couldn't. A civilian tried to land it, and it it hit the ground on impact.
But no one's ever spoken about that other plane, the
There's
one
a
that hit
film-
the
there's a-
Pentagon.
Oh no, yeah, no,
Like, who was on that?
yeah.
Because obviously there's all the weird theories about the whole of the Twin Towers blowing up, and then the one kind of remaining thing they have is the passport of the exact guy who did it. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's that in perfect condition, isn't there?
Even though,
So
it's
yeah,
bollocks,
it's all a bit strange.
100% it
The
is.
Pentagon one, there's if you look at the photo of where it got blown up as well, there's a camera next to it, and that
Yeah.
camera caught nothing. So
Yeah.
I've always kind of
It's
thought that one's a bit strange.
Shady as it really is.
So let's delve a little bit deeper into that before my head explodes. What is the reasoning behind why this will be a cover up?
Probably the one I mentioned, the files. So
To get rid of certain files.
there were certain files in the Pentagon. So it's
Yeah.
obviously it's a massive government operation there.
and also to kickstart the war in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Okay, that's got some weight behind it.
So they could go
Yeah.
over and get.
And the
Petrol.
thing is, they wouldn't have. The thing is, regardless of the towers, I just feel, even though people did die in the Pentagon, I feel like it's more respectful to just stick on the Pentagon because of the sheer amount of people that died in the
Yeah.
towers. If the U.S. government did do this in order to kickstart a war, they're not the first government to do that. This has happened in the past. This is a thing, there was something around. It was proven. Apparently, I'm going to butcher this, but the U.S. government sanctioned the CIA to do certain attacks within the U.S. to claim that it was Cuba. I think this was like in the 80s, so that they could go and do what they wanted to do in Cuba. And this is actually
that with the drug war?
This is in quite possibly this is in declassified files. Like it's there in black and white. So it's not out of the realms of possibility that they did send a missile into the side of the Pentagon to say terror attack. We need to go after them.
But then why would they do that as well as just? You might as well just do the 2 towers.
Because
leave the
that's
Pentagon.
that's the Secretary of Defense. That is literally the home of the defense of the actual.
But
country.
then, if you do that, why you got to do the towers? Like, oh, what? Because there's a threat on our defense and a threat on our people, sort of thing.
Yeah,
That's going to be a 9 for me.
I'd give
then.
that a 9.
Yeah,
I think I'll do the same.
I also don't think you can ever give a conspiracy theory a 10.
No, because
Because
then
it's
that
a
would
theory.
say
Yeah,
that happened.
would take the theory out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the most plausible conspiracy theory I think I've heard. Well,
Yeah.
definitely today.
Oh,
but,
100%, yeah.
Okay.
Either that or the Queen.
Being a
gay frogs.
Yeah.
Well,
What's with you gay frogs,
I don't know.
man?
I'm just obsessed with it because I want to
Oh,
know
mate.
if you looked at a frog.
How would you know it's gay?
Yeah, I'd never
I
know.
know,
Do you know what I
I
mean?
know.
It
Just
would
like-
be going over to Bohemian Grove.
That's there we go. It's
Come on, they're all linked.
It's all linked. The frog came over in a spaceship.
Or maybe to tell if it's a gay frog, you just look for a little bag, see if it's got chihuahua in it.
That's the most stereotypical thing.
It's a joke.
Glad to clarify.
Dogs would not be able to
Oh,
carry a
dear.
chihuahua, even though chihuahuas are the smallest dogs.
Dogs won't be. Frogs.
Frogs will not be able to carry. Chihuahuas could probably carry bags with frogs in.
I would love to see that. No, who said that?
If anyone out there has
The
got a
frog in a
chihuahua,
satchel.
Can you please get a frog in a bag?
I live near some frogs, so I can sort
I
you out.
live near some frogs. You're making it sound like they're your new neighbours that are moved in.
Oh Jesus!
Sorry. What's the last one, George?
Right, so Hitler didn't die in 1945.
Are you just telling us, or?
Yeah, and I have to say, whew,
Compelling argument?
compelling. So well, I don't know where to start. Let's start with the fact that declassified FBI files
Yeah.
clearly show that 10 years after the end of the World War II, the US government plowed millions of dollars into searching for Hitler. Why would you do that if he was dead? Why would you do that if he was dead? Also, the official story is that he committed suicide with his wife of a couple of hours. They got married in the bunker and then allegedly committed suicide. She took a suicide pill. She took a cyanide pill capsule. He shot himself. And then apparently the bodies were covered, taken upstairs at his request, burnt. But the bodies weren't reduced to ashes because it takes 3,000 degrees in a cremation chamber in order to do that. So there was plenty of remains for the Russians to find. So they took his alleged body back to Moscow, where it was held for a long time. And then in 2009, it was his skull was genetically tested, and it was in fact the skull of a 35-year-old woman, potentially and more than likely his wife. So what the skull that we believed was Hitler's was actually a 35 to 40-year-old woman's skull.
So did they not just take the wrong body?
Potentially, or there was never a body for them to take.
Do you reckon Hitler got in too deep with the war and he knew he was going to lose, so he thought,
Oh,
fuck,
yeah,
I need out of this?
Just forget the conspiracy theories. Look into the last few hours in Berlin. It was like hell on earth. Like it was all going to shit. Hitler had lost. He knew this, and it was bad. Well, he drove him to suicide.
What?
So,
Well, allegedly. But
allegedly.
What?
Exactly.
How would he have escaped? Just quickly
So,
shaved off
we're
that little
getting
tash
there.
and just left.
We're getting
Imagine,
there.
imagine
Well,
he's walked in with a tash. Everyone's gone, Hitler's in there. And then he just walks out looking exactly the same, but no tash. Where's Hitler
He
gone?
just quiffs his hair up a bit instead.
That's it. Oh god.
This is just briefly going to deter from that a moment. That's that theory. What, and this is where I really show how thick I am, but what determines winning the war? Like when it was like, because if you played chess with me now, I'd know I'm close to checkmate.
The Germans surrendered.
What, they all go, whoa.
They sent like an official thing, didn't
Yeah.
they? After Hitler died, everything fell to shit. They officially surrendered
Right.
to the Allies.
Yeah, back in the day, it used to just be everyone's dead except you. So like in war, and then you'd kill the
Yeah,
king.
it was very
and then
straightforward,
Once
yeah.
the king's dead.
But they sent out like a radio message and went,
Something along those lines. Yeah, I mean they were running out of ammunition. This is true. A lot of the Nazi soldiers actually were like basically fueled on like cocaine, LSD, and loads of stuff. Because if you imagine you're sending your soldiers marching across countries, like hopefully you can get food supplies every now and then, but sometimes you can't. So they were, it was getting to a stage where it was like, if you're in a battle, we don't have any more guns or ammunition. So when your guy in front of you gets shot, just pick up his gun. Like it was for the Nazi Party, it fell to shit quite quickly. When the US got involved and everything, and it was just too much.
right. So Hitler bottled it and then
100%, and then apparently killed himself, but then apparently didn't. Apparently he fled to Argentina, and there were legitimate they're called rat routes or rat holes, about 3 of them out of Europe via U-boat, via submarine, that you could actually get out. Also, apparently there was some rich benefactors from Argentina that actually funded the Nazi Party in the 1920s. So without them, the Nazi Party would have never really raised, because they didn't have the money behind them. So there was definitely links within Argentina and Chile. Both the leaders were fascists. Both of them were very much in with the Nazis. Because I mean, the thing is, I guess there was points during the World War where you probably, as a leader of a country, had to think, well, fuck, even if you're not directly involved, well, fuck, which side's going to win this? Because we're probably better. And they were already fascist anyway, so they sided with them. But it's also factual that thousands, if not tens of thousands, of high-ranking Nazis escaped to South America, and then other ones in Operation Paperclip were enlisted into NASA and stuff in America. A lot of the high-end engineers and scientists and stuff. So a lot of Nazis got away. It was only really the lower ones that kind of got their comeuppance, really. But yeah, so Hitler the 3 successful rat lines from Europe to South Africa, South America. But some of the worst managed to escape. People like Joseph Mengele. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
The Angel of Death, Dr. Death.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely vile human being. It's disgusting.
he's the guy who
He
tested
on twins.
Yeah.
So
what?
he tested on twins. He killed 3,000 twins. So basically, the idea was obviously you had the Aryan race, right?
Yeah.
The Hitler Youth.
The blonde hair, the blue eyes.
If we can figure out how the fuck twins work, we can double the rate of the youth coming through, right? So he tested on twins. He'd see if they shared pain. He'd inject blue ink into their eyes. He would like cut parts of them off and sew them on the other one to see if they were. He was despicable. He was Hitler was obviously fucking awful. One of the worst humans to ever live. But I genuinely believe that there were people beneath him that were worse.
Really?
Because I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't know Adolf Hitler, obviously, but I don't know if he would get joy out of harvesting children and like meshing them together. I think you have to be.
he allowed other people to do it.
He facilitated it. He enabled it, and I'm not, But I think you have to be a special kind of sick fuck to do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, you're looking into that. They were absolute fucking monsters. They really were.
That is incredible.
I'm not sure if we
Yeah.
can class this one as a conspiracy theory though.
We're getting there. We're
It's Hitler. Hitler didn't die in the war.
But here's my logic behind it. If we genuinely believe that he did, like even like our government and everyone, and now they've only found out about the skull a few years ago,
2009, yeah.
it's not really a conspiracy theory because a conspiracy theory comes across that someone's trying to lie about it, but no one was trying to lie. They genuinely thought it. But also, what's he done since? Like, if on the off chance he made it to Argentina, it's kind of like, it's done. War's still over. We haven't started World War III.
But this is in the theatre. So apparently, because of like all the high-ranking guys got over there, like Joseph Schaefer, he was another one. He actually set up a place in, I think it was Chile, called Colonia Dignidad, which is Colony of Dignity, and that place, that place kind of signifies, I think, what life would have been like had the Nazis won. So, there was still a lot of Germans, regardless of regardless of whether they were high-ranking Nazis or not. There was still a lot of Germans within Germany that were loyal to the Nazi Party, right? So basically, this Josef Schaefer sold this dream to a lot of the people left behind that we're going to make paradise in Argentina or in Chile or South America come, right? So there were people selling everything that they had to come over to where he was, gave them all their money, and what they actually found when they got there was a society led with an iron fist. They would work 16 hours a day. They'd be separated from the couples would be separated. The children would be molested. There was like over 100 murders within this community. Colonia Dignidad. I wouldn't recommend looking into it, but it's.
I thought you were going to say I wouldn't recommend going.
You can go there though. You can get better, but also, it was constant surveillance. It was forbidden to leave. So basically, they were sold a dream and given absolute hell. And it just kind of
Sounds
shows
like Fire Festival.
yeah, maybe it's the same theory. I'm not sure, but yeah, and that just goes to show like what was sort of like going on in South America. But it was still to this day. There was like 50 German colonies throughout Chile and Argentina.
Really?
Yeah. And these people that live there, right, entirely German communities, but you have to think I know you can't like tarnish people with the brush of their fathers and things, but you have to think these are the spawn of some of the evilest men that ever lived. And apparently, like there's a fantastic documentary called Hunting Hitler, where they go over to South America and go to these colonies and stuff. And apparently it's all like full on neo-Nazi, like,
really
wipe out all the rest of it. Yeah. And so these are like fanatical descendants of some of the highest ranking officers in the Nazi party. Scary stuff. And they're still there. And you got to think if tens of thousands went over there within these, there's like over 100,000 of them now.
So there's got to be some proper mental ones within that.
Quite possibly, quite possibly. But yeah, but back to Hitler. Sorry,
As you do.
I just thought,
As you
I
do.
just thought I'd give it a bit of flesh behind
Yeah.
the whole South, because that is
Queen would
real.
be all over that.
Whether Hitler went, yeah, she would, and I'd actually invite that from. But no, she has. I'm gonna shut up. But no. So that part is real. There are German colonies out there. Schaefer did get there. The Angel of Death, Mengele, did get there. In fact, Mengele was in charge of the hospital
Was he? Good on him.
at Colonia Dignidad.
Fuck me, he fell on his feet, didn't he? Jesus
That's
Christ.
That's it. But then also, I'll just throw in this theory. So after the Colonia Dignidad stuff, right? Mengele apparently retired to Brazil. Now, like I said, his whole thing was Hitler was like, how the fuck do twins work? Work it out. The village in which Mengele retired and eventually died, thank fuck, right? Now has the highest rate of twins on the planet. It's like this really weird thing. Like apparently it's like 1 in 5 born are twins and stuff like that. So it's like, fuck, did he actually figure it out? It's mad.
That is fucking weird.
Jack, you've sent me down a fucking hole this weekend, mate. I don't know. Oh man.
You are, yeah.
But-
for a resident conspiracy expert, I think you've smashed it there because that is.
But just quickly, right? Countless potential eyewitness accounts in Argentina of Hitler, right? Like I said, there was no body. The skull was incorrect. He allegedly arrived in Hacienda San Ramon before moving to a Bavarian-style mansion in Analco, close to the Chilean border. This is a bit similar to the anonymous soldier with the Queen. Declassified CIA document from 3rd of October 1955 claims an SS trooper called Philip Citron claimed Hitler, that he met Hitler, he knew Hitler, and the file actually contained a photo of him with Hitler dated 1954.
Wow.
Which is obviously like 10 years after he left.
But if you were Hitler and you're on the run and you were meant to be dead, you wouldn't be
You don't
taking
take
any
photos.
photos.
Selfies.
Also, this is. I'll just finish it and then I'll get on. But Nazis swore to protect Hitler, sworn to secrecy, protected compounds, and he had billions in wealth. You got to think all the Nazi stolen gold and all the rest of it. So the theory is he essentially bought the officials of Argentina to silence. And he apparently died in 1962, February the 13th, after a series of heart attacks. But all the eyewitnesses, right? So they're like, yeah, we saw him turn up. He came through the villages and stuff, and all the rest of it. And we were like, that's Adolf Hitler. I'm not being funny, right? You're Adolf Hitler. Your regime's gone to shit. You want to escape. Didn't shave the tash.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you're not gonna. You're not gonna.
I'm going bald.
Yeah.
I'm going either or just embrace the beard. But apparently, oh yeah, there he is.
He loved the look. He loved Charlie Chaplin, didn't he? So
I know what you mean. I think there's a lot of pros and cons to that one. But apparently, what was this? Yeah, do you know why apparently he has his tash like that, the little tash bit?
No.
Now I can't work out. I'm not an expert like you at
Please
this.
stop
But
calling me an expert, man. Everyone's gonna think I'm a fucking.
But what it was, and again, there's going to be a lot of holes in this because I can't remember the details. But apparently, when in World War One, he was a soldier, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
There was a bit where he was trapped in some kind of place, and there was a lot of gas coming that burns his skin, right? And he was like in a rock or under some floorboards or something, and he'd managed to get a tube to breathe through. I don't know if this might be true. This might be a fact, right? But I don't know. It could be another bullshit lie. But the tube came and he had to stay there. He had a mask on, but for his mouth to breathe, he put his mouth against this tube. All this gas came, burnt his skin, so he couldn't. He had a mask on his head, but that's why he couldn't grow a beard or anything, and that's why he could only grow the little bit in the middle, because that was the only bit touching the oxygen that he'd breathe from. And then once that moved out,
I just read that he really liked Charlie Chaplin. I genuinely read that quite a few. No, because I thought he was a really big fan of his comedy.
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin was English, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he really liked his comedy, and that's why he grew the same.
The Jews he hated, mate, not the English.
he has the exact same moustache as Charlie Chaplin, didn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Someone tell us, because we are
please
clueless.
do.
We still haven't rated that one.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
4. There's a chance, but
6.
I'm a 7.
Whee!
I think anytime there's not a body, anytime there's not an actual body, it's hard to truly say.
There we go. I loved that. That was good. I hope you guys learned some new conspiracies. I definitely did. I can tell you had a fun weekend, Jordan.
Mate, I need rehab now. Fucking hell.
There we go, guys. If you don't know already, this is DudeyRhino, so go over and check his channel out. We're going to be making lots of stuff on there. You may have already seen me on there by the time this goes out, but yeah, cheers, Jordan. We'll have you back on. You'll see a lot of this face.
Appreciate it, man.
Stevie,
Already seen enough of this face.
I'm just trying to work out a way that I can let you go without breaking your heart, but we'll get there. We'll get there, guys. I promise. Right, this has been Jack Makes Happy Hour. These have been conspiracies. We'll see you in the next one.